Have you noticed that Ford seems to be preparing for something much bigger than just another model year update? Because according to recent announcements and industry reports, Ford's leadership is making moves that could completely reshape the company's future. And when Ford's CEO stepped onto the stage to reveal 3 major new vehicles planned for 2027, the crowd's reaction said everything. But here's what's interesting. These aren't just new vehicles. One of them could redefine affordable electric transportation. Another could bring back the excitement that made Ford famous in the first place. And the third might be the most important vehicle Ford has launched in decades. We'll explain all of that in just a moment. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why many industry experts believe Ford's 2027 lineup could mark the beginning of a completely new era for the Blue Oval. And trust me, the biggest surprise isn't what these vehicles are. It's why Ford is building them. Let's get started. For years, Ford has been facing a challenge that nearly every automaker in the world is dealing with. How do you build vehicles that customers actually want, while also preparing for a future filled with new technology, stricter regulations, and changing consumer expectations? Some companies have focused almost entirely on electric vehicles. Others have stayed heavily invested in traditional gasoline-powered models. Ford appears to be taking a different approach. Instead of betting everything on one strategy, the company is building multiple paths into the future. And that's exactly what these 3 new 2027 models represent. Each vehicle targets a different type of customer. Each serves a different purpose, and together, they reveal a much larger plan. Let's start with the first model. The vehicle that could become one of Ford's most important launches in years. The affordable next-generation electric vehicle. When most people think about electric vehicles today, one complaint comes up again and again. They're too expensive. Sure, luxury EVs offer impressive technology. High-end electric trucks deliver incredible performance. But many buyers simply want something practical, affordable, and reliable. Ford knows this, and that's why the company has reportedly been developing a new generation of affordable electric vehicles built on a dedicated low-cost platform. At first glance, that may not sound exciting, but this project could be revolutionary. Why? Because affordability has become the biggest barrier preventing widespread EV adoption. Many consumers like the idea of driving electric. They just don't like the price tags. Ford's solution appears to focus on reducing manufacturing complexity while improving efficiency. Instead of simply shrinking existing EVs, engineers are reportedly designing an entirely new architecture from the ground up. That means fewer components, lower production costs, and potentially much more competitive pricing. But here's the surprising part. Ford isn't just trying to build a cheap EV. They're trying to build an electric vehicle people genuinely want to own. That's a huge difference. Historically, affordable vehicles often required major compromises, less performance, less technology, less comfort. Ford appears determined to avoid that mistake. Industry insiders suggest these future EVs could feature advanced software systems, over-the-air updates, improved battery technology, and practical real-world range. In other words, Ford wants customers to choose these vehicles because they like them, not simply because they're affordable. And if the company succeeds, this could become one of the most important electric vehicle programs in North America. But that's only the beginning, because Ford's second major reveal may appeal to an entirely different audience: the return of excitement. Let's talk about something that has always separated Ford from many competitors: passion. Throughout its history, Ford has built vehicles that people genuinely love: the Mustang, the SVT models, the Raptor, the GT. These vehicles created emotional connections. And according to many industry observers, Ford's 2027 strategy includes bringing more excitement back into the lineup. Now, before we go further, we're not talking about a single sports car. We're talking about performance-focused innovation spreading throughout the brand. That's an important distinction. For years, many automakers treated performance vehicles as niche products. Ford appears to see them differently. The company understands that exciting vehicles create enthusiasm that benefits the entire lineup. Even customers who never buy a performance model often become fans of the brand because those vehicles exist. It's called the halo effect. and Ford has used it successfully for decades. Recent development programs suggest future Ford performance vehicles could combine traditional power with advanced electrification technologies. That opens up fascinating possibilities. Imagine instant electric torque combined with Ford's performance heritage. Imagine performance trucks becoming even faster. Imagine sports cars delivering acceleration levels previously reserved for supercars. But here's the surprising insight. The real goal may not be maximum horsepower. It may be making performance more accessible. Instead of building vehicles exclusively for collectors, Ford appears interested in creating products that ordinary enthusiasts can actually afford. That matters, because automotive enthusiasm has always been strongest when exciting vehicles are within reach of regular buyers. And if Ford successfully blends affordability, technology, and performance, the company could attract an entirely new generation of enthusiasts. However, as impressive as that sounds, the third vehicle reveal may be the most significant announcement of all. The vehicle that could define Ford's future. Every automaker eventually reaches a moment when a single vehicle represents far more than transportation. It becomes a statement, a symbol, a vision of where the company is heading. For Ford, many analysts believe that vehicle may arrive in 2027, not because it's the fastest, not because it's the cheapest, but because it combines everything Ford has learned over the last decade. Think about the challenges Ford has faced: electrification, software integration, manufacturing efficiency, autonomous technology development, customer expectations, global competition. Every one of those challenges has forced the company to evolve. The result appears to be a new generation of intelligent vehicles designed around flexibility. Instead of focusing on a single powertrain, Ford is building platforms capable of supporting multiple technologies. That creates enormous advantages. Markets change, consumer preferences change, regulations change. A flexible platform allows Ford to adapt faster than competitors locked into a single strategy. And that's where the third reveal becomes especially important. This vehicle represents Ford's belief that the future won't belong exclusively to gasoline vehicles or exclusively to EVs. Instead, the winners will be companies capable of offering customers multiple solutions. Some buyers will want electric vehicles, others will prefer hybrids. Many will still choose traditional internal combustion engines. Ford wants to serve all of them. That's a remarkably practical strategy. And judging by audience reactions during recent presentations, many customers appreciate that approach. Why Ford's timing matters. Now let's discuss something that often gets overlooked: timing. Building great vehicles is important. Launching them at the right moment is equally important. And Ford may have chosen 2027 carefully. By then, battery technology is expected to improve further. Charging infrastructure should continue expanding. Software capabilities will likely become even more advanced. Meanwhile, customer expectations will continue evolving. Launching these vehicles in 2027 allows Ford to take advantage of those improvements. It also gives engineers additional time to refine the products. That's critical, because modern vehicles are more complex than ever. Customers expect seamless technology, advanced safety systems, reliable software, excellent efficiency, strong performance, and competitive pricing. Meeting all those expectations simultaneously isn't easy. Ford understands that, which is why many of these projects have reportedly involved extensive development efforts. The company isn't simply chasing headlines. They're trying to create products that remain competitive for years after launch. And in today's market, that's exactly what's required. The bigger picture behind the announcements. Here's where the story becomes really interesting. Most people see these reveals as individual vehicle announcements, but they may actually represent something much larger: a transformation of Ford itself. Think about what these three vehicles collectively communicate. The affordable EV demonstrates Ford's commitment to accessibility. The performance-focused developments show continued investment in excitement and enthusiast culture. The flexible next-generation vehicle highlights long-term adaptability. Together, they create a balanced portfolio, and balance may become Ford's greatest advantage. Some automakers are heavily dependent on a single technology. Others rely on a narrow customer base. Ford appears to be spreading risk while expanding opportunity. That's a strategy investors like. It's a strategy customers appreciate, and it's a strategy that can create long-term stability. But there is another reason these announcements matter. They reveal confidence. Developing multiple major vehicle programs simultaneously requires significant resources. Companies don't make those investments unless they believe strongly in their future direction. Ford's willingness to move forward with these projects suggests leadership sees substantial opportunities ahead. What this means for buyers. So what does all of this mean for everyday consumers? Quite a lot, actually. Competition benefits customers. When major automakers introduce innovative products, competitors respond. That leads to better vehicles across the industry. More features, better technology, improved performance, and often more competitive pricing. Ford's upcoming 2027 lineup could accelerate that process. Buyers interested in affordable EVs may gain new options. Performance enthusiasts may see exciting new choices. Families could benefit from smarter, more versatile vehicles. Even customers who never purchase a Ford may ultimately benefit because competing brands will likely respond with innovations of their own. That's how progress happens in the automotive industry. One company pushes forward, others follow, and consumers win. The secret behind the crowd's reaction. Remember the opening question? Why was the crowd so impressed? Why did these announcements generate so much excitement? The answer isn't simply that Ford revealed 3 new vehicles. Automakers do that all the time. The real reason is what these vehicles represent: hope, direction, confidence. For years, many consumers have wondered where the automotive industry is heading. Some feared electric vehicles would eliminate excitement, others worried performance would disappear. Many questioned whether affordable transportation would remain available. Ford's 2027 strategy appears to address all those concerns simultaneously. Affordable innovation, enthusiast-focused development, flexible future-ready engineering. That's a powerful combination. And that's why the audience reaction was so strong. People weren't just seeing vehicles, they were seeing a roadmap. A glimpse of what Ford believes the future should look like. And whether every prediction becomes reality remains to be seen. But one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Ford isn't waiting for the future to arrive. The company is actively trying to shape it. Closing thoughts. When we started this video, I mentioned that something important had changed. Now we can finally reveal what that is. The biggest story isn't any single vehicle. It's Ford's overall strategy. Instead of choosing between affordability and innovation, Ford wants both. Instead of choosing between performance and efficiency, Ford wants both. Instead of betting everything on one technology, Ford is preparing for multiple futures at once. That's the real message behind these 3 new 2027 models. They're not separate projects. They're pieces of a much larger plan. A plan designed to keep Ford competitive in one of the most challenging periods the automotive industry has ever faced. And if these vehicles deliver on their promises, 2027 may be remembered as the year Ford didn't just launch new models, it launched the next chapter of the company itself. The crowd saw that possibility immediately. Now the rest of the automotive world is watching to see if Ford can turn that vision into reality. And honestly, that's what makes this story so fascinating. The vehicles are exciting, the technology is impressive, but the real reveal is much bigger. Ford isn't just building new cars and trucks, it's building its future. This version is structured for strong audience retention, with mystery-driven hooks, recurring curiosity loops, clear transitions, and a satisfying payoff at the end.